how do you know when you have made it as a marketer? You know, there are people like Liana Ling, where everywhere she goes, she's got the Midas touch. It turns stuff into gold, and she knows everybody, and things are always going so well. And you look at people like her and you say, what is she doing that is so magical? Why can't I be like that? Because maybe I'm not as connected, I'm not as intelligent, I don't have as much experience, I don't compare against Liana Ling. But if this one thing is true for you, that's how you'll know that you've made it as a marketer. And let me tell you a story which caused me to realize I need to create this podcast episode with Liana to talk about what this is. So just a few minutes ago, Liana was on a call with a client of hers. And she was off in the corner doing her Zoom call, and I was doing my thing, And she said, well, actually, let me just introduce you guys over to Dennis. And she brought her laptop right here, opened it up, and it was the client that was doing high-end educational programs for these kids. And she said, Dennis, do you meet Richard Racing, the founder of this? Do you know him? I'm like, his name sounds familiar. Where have I come across his name? And we started talking about the company, and I realized this was the founder of one of the clients that we had worked with, but he had already sold his company to private equity before we came in and started doing all this kind of marketing. And then what did he say during the call, and his wife?
Oh, they thought, they were just amazed. They thought this was just, first of all, very weird, right? That this would happen. What a great coincidence. I'm not sure. They said a lot of different things.
After coincidence.
Yeah.
And he even said, he said, just this morning I woke up and I was thinking about how do we create programs. He basically was saying the content factory that we teach.
Yeah, we were
right?
explaining that to them because he had questions, and then literally, he said, this morning I was trying to research the best way to take the the shorts out of the video and put it out there, and I got stuck. And I literally was like, well, let's just talk to Dennis. He's right here.
And in their program, they have Nobel laureates that have won the Nobel Prize in medicine that are teaching at these prestigious programs. So these scientists and doctors that all these parents want their kids to be like and to be able to be around and learn from. How do we maximize that? How do we maximize teachers that are nominating students and students that are nominating other students to be a part of this program, right? And I said, you know what? I have just the thing. And I opened up my laptop and I showed Liana all these campaigns that we ran from 2017, from years ago, where we did the very thing that Richard wanted to do. We had the proof against it. We had the landing pages. We had the ad creatives, packaged it all up. Here it is. But it was after he sold the company, and then he created a competing company. Because when you sell your company, there's non-competes, and then you can do, eating thing after a few years. And I just gave that to Liana. And the cool thing is that I told Richard and Lisa and their head of marketing, I just want to support Liana. Anything to make her look good, because she's so good. Whatever I can do to contribute, whatever knowledge, whatever connections I have. And I was never trying to sell my services or any of the agencies or software companies I have involvement in. Yet you understand the reverse psychology is then they want to work with me. And he said oh yeah, we definitely need to get on a call and all this and that. And Leanna's like, yeah, I'll introduce you guys and all this and that. And this is the kind of serendipitous moment where if this happens, that's how you know you've made it as a marketer.
Yeah.
We were hanging out yesterday here in the podcast studio. And I thought, my buddy Harry Gold, he just dropped me off at the airport and I came up to Toronto, and he's a huge ad spend guy, right? He sold his agency for an amount of money I can't tell you, but it's life-changing money. And I thought, well, he's doing so much in programmatic that anyone else who's spending a lot of money, I need to connect him to, because he's cutting all the margins out of all the trade desk and the DSPs and SSPs. So guys who spend a lot of money on programmatic, you know what I'm talking about, because that's not a huge markup. So we need to connect. I need to connect Liana and Harry Gold. At dinner last night, I was with George Lee, who was one of the founders of Vendasta, which grew to multiple hundreds of millions of dollars. He was the chief revenue officer, started a new thing. And I thought, you know what? I've got to connect George and Liana. So after we go give the closing keynote over there in 15 or 20 minutes, George is coming over here to the Marriott downtown Toronto and we're going to hang out, and I'm going to introduce him to Liana.
Yeah. It's
So
really exciting.
Harry Gold, George, Liana, Richard Rossi, all of these guys are all interconnected. And so I'm trying to create value for Liana by making these introductions, and then she brought me in with JV Zoo and Webinar Jam and whatnot. And she has the abundance mentality where it's not like, I'm going to try to hoard everything for myself. But no, let me bring in Dennis. Let me bring in these, Perry Marshall's a mutual friend of ours, right? Like, oh yeah, do you know so-and-so? Oh yeah, we got like, oh yeah, I know this other thing. And so that's how you know you've made it as a marketer.
Yeah.
Now, the funny thing is that people misinterpret what I said and say, oh, well, you just need to know everybody. No. The reason you're able to maintain these relationships is because you actually deliver. Mm-hmm. You have a reputation for results, which allows these relationships to compound. So when you see people like Liana and you see who she's hanging out with, like scroll back through her Facebook and look at all the people that she's had dinner with or whatnot, and you'll see this common pattern. So if you are not successful in marketing, or you think marketing is some technical program, like whatever math kind of thing, because we're Asians, we're both good at computing. No, but see what she's done. And I want you guys to notice that that's the difference between those people who have made it in marketing versus people who are just constantly cold calling and they have no reputation. They're just trying to sell and do whatever to get leads. What do you think?
Yeah. No, that's something that I've cultivated over the many years, but you can do it even just, it doesn't have to take you like 10 years in order to do this. It's really all about, what I found is just, like you said, having an abundance mentality.
Yeah.
And then also just genuinely be curious in other people and genuinely offering to help them. Like, I introduced Dennis to other people too, because I genuinely think that the two of them together can help each other, and I think that's reflected in all the other people that I'm connected with as well. And they know I've built this reputation that they know if I introduce them, if I connect you to somebody else, they immediately trust me, because I know Liana's very discerning and that she really wants to help me. And that's really what it is. I remember I was at an event and I went up to talk to Evan Pagan, and there was somebody in front of me, and he went up and he was sort of like, being a fan and saying, oh, I want to give you my book. And he had all these things that he brought that he wanted to give Evan, but they were all his stuff.
Yeah.
And then I went up to him, and you could see just Evan going, oh, okay, here's somebody else. And I immediately went, oh, well, because we have mutual people. As soon as I said that, totally different thing. The mask fell. Yeah. We become more friends, and now I'm in, I consider him like a friend in a group. So all because of that,
Isn't it so much better when other people talk about you than you talking about yourself? Like, I feel kind of ashamed or embarrassed in a way, because Liana talks me up and says so many great things. But like, the power of her reputation and that kind of trust, I don't take lightly, because that's super, super valuable. Think about the other people that you know, where you care about them and you've done good work for them. When they say something just in passing to a friend or whatnot, that carries way more weight than anything you could douchily say about yourself, right? Yeah. Why don't people leverage that? Why do they think it's all about, I got to sell, I got to knock on 50 doors and cold call all day long, right? Yeah.
And at last, they remember. I still have people who say, hey, Liana, I was on that call with you and Dennis, and you helped me so much years ago. Yeah. Years ago, and they still remember us. They still follow us. They still reach out. There's even, remember that lady who came by?
Anna.
Yeah, yes. She remembered us from last year. Why? We actually spent a good amount of time with her last year here at the conference, helping her. Yeah. Dennis brought out his laptop. He was like literally helping her right then and there. She remembered, she came back.
We didn't get paid. We didn't try to sell her on a high ticket consulting thing. No. I mean, yes, your time is valuable, and there's a lot of people who just want to pick your brain or what. Yeah, I get it. But sometimes it doesn't take, most of the time, it doesn't take much just to help them out. Like, even today, when I was in the Uber over here, some people hit me up. Hey, I have this question. I know I can't, like this one guy, he said, I have $5,000. I'm on my last $5,000. I know I can't afford you, but I have this one question. I looked at it and I just voice answered his question. It took me like 47 seconds. And I know that down the line, because it's come back to me, where people will say, you helped me out 10 years ago, and now I'm in a position where I want to do something for you. I'll give you an example that almost no one knows. Qasim Aslam. So he went from a nobody to the largest, I think, Google Ads agency, right? Now he's doing the masterminds with all these other guys. And he told a story on the Digital Marketer podcast. It was so funny because like a Digital Marketer invited me to be on their podcast. So of course I'm going to say yes. And then I see Qasim as a co-host there.
Oh.
Like, Qasim, what are you doing here? He's like, oh, I'm a co-host of the podcast now. I'm like, wow, Qasim, did you know Qasim rhymes with awesome? And then I said a couple things. And then he said, do you know when we first met? I don't know. It was like maybe 8 or 9 years ago or something like that. Probably at a conference somewhere. I don't know. And he said, let me tell you when I first met Dennis. He was teaching at Infusionsoft's headquarters, a workshop on how to do lead gen or whatever. And afterwards, there was a whole line of people. You can go look it up on YouTube. He explains it. There's a whole line of people trying to talk to you, Dennis, but you stayed around and I was a nobody. And I had all of these questions about how to run Facebook ads and Google ads and all that kind of stuff. This is just when he started in the industry, was a nobody, right? And he said, you stayed around, answered all my questions, stayed for an extra hour, and then answered my questions along the way. And I hope when I say this, it doesn't cause like hundreds of people to like, well, you said that within limits, right? And then he grew and he remembered that moment. I didn't remember it. And I'm kind of ashamed of that. I didn't remember that. It was like years ago, but he held on to that. And then it was 8 years later that he said it publicly in the Digital Marketer podcast.
Right.
And I thought, wow. And then I said, can I quote you on that? He said, of course. And then he said, then he mentioned some other question. And I said, you know what? I know the guy you need to talk to for that, who can connect you to do this business thing you want to do. And he said, well, can I pay you for that? I'm like, sure. Blitzmetrics.com/power hour. It's $1,500, right, to talk to me, right? If you want to pay me, okay, right? And then I looked, all of a sudden I see a Stripe notification, cha-ching, $1,500. Then the next week we had a call scheduled because you had to come and book your time, right? And no crap, I have it recorded on Zoom. He explains the issue. I make a connection to, well, let me text you, right? Introduce you to so-and-so right now, right? And then I said, well, we're 5 minutes in. We still have another 55 minutes because it's a power hour, right? And he said, we're done. I already got my value. We can hang up now. I'm like, but you that's the $1,500 for 5 minutes. I already got my value. Oh, okay. What do you think about clients like that?
Oh man, that's a rare breed. I love that. And I love that because that shows you that they respect time as well,
yes.
Right? And no, I love that.
And ever since then, he's like, there'll be a post of mine, and then he'll comment on that and say like, well, Dennis is the best guy when it comes to this and that. Mm-hmm. And I feel like I need to be paying him.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It's amazing. So that's how you know you've made it as a marketer, where if you do good work, all these people will talk about you. Mm-hmm. If you suck as a marketer and you're doing cold calls saying, hey, I can help you generate more leads via my cold calling, whatever kind of thing. Or the worst, some of you guys might, this might be true for you, but you ever see those marketers that are desperate? They're like, I need a job. I need to, I'm trying to start an agency where I'm going to do lead gen. All right, well, if you can't do lead gen for yourself, how are you going to help these other people do that, right?
Yeah.
Like, how many cold DMs do you get on LinkedIn or ones where you accept the request and I should not have accepted that because now they're bombarding me. Mm-hmm. And they just send out the same nonsense. Mm-hmm. Hey, I can personalize it to some degree, but they're like, we can help you generate. What would you do if you could generate 20 more leads every month and we'll pay, it's only pay on performance. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, if you are the way you bombarded me with that and you're going to put my name out there and hurt my brand by making me seem like one of those, like, no, thank you. Mm-hmm. Even if you paid me to do that, I wouldn't say yes.
Yeah. And you don't have to be, like, if you're new, you can still do this. We're in Toronto right now, and this is where I'm from, and I was sharing with Dennis that, like, this is where I started. And nobody knew anything. I didn't know what I was doing either, but I went out and I actually went out and tried to help as many people as possible. I started, my uncle was He was actually part of the Bloor West Village BIA, and that's how I started helping them out. He's like, just come to our meetings and help us, and I started doing that. And then he
Her
actually,
uncle's a big deal.
yeah, he's got a fountain and everything. He invented the BIA, but the Toronto BIA, which oversees like 40,000 small businesses here. I was the marketing coordinator for a while, and what we did was I actually partnered with one of the newspapers, and we went around and did these little lunch and learns just to help businesses set up their Google profiles for free. That's it. And they were so grateful. But that, like, nobody knew who I was. But I just went out there. It's like, who can I help? Who can I help? And they were like, oh, Liana, maybe you should like do this, like come to the library and like set up something else. And other people started volunteering their offices and their businesses. And we just started traveling all around Toronto, just helping for free, small businesses. And it starts from there. It just starts from there.
It's karma. Whether you believe in the secret or the power of reciprocity or karma or the golden rule if you're a Christian, me as an engineer, I'm telling you it's true. I didn't believe it for the longest time because no, unless I see the facts and, science, I don't believe in this woo-woo thing the universe or whatever you believe in. I'm telling you it's true.
You create your own momentum. You create your own luck, whatever you want to call it. You just start.
Yeah. In the same way, some people where it's like everything's wrong for them all the time.
Yeah.
The cloud follows them around and rains on their head.
Yeah.
The same is true for them, right? They just approach it with this negative thing, and that just infects all the other stuff that you do. So I'd say as busy as you are, maybe you're tired, you didn't get enough sleep or whatever. Think about every time you move it. Maybe you just had a bad client call because sometimes it happens. Because watch the energy. Don't carry that into the next meeting, right? Go walk outside for 5 minutes, whatever it is, and then watch your energy.
Yes.
That's not, and if you do that, and you understand, I'm not saying fake optimism, but you'll be more like Liana. You can see she's real happy.
Yeah.
Right? She's not the fake happy.
I'm very, yeah.
And
I'm not,
just carries
and I
over
don't
in everything
push.
she does.
I don't push myself on people, and I'm not trying to sell myself to somebody. And so, and I think it comes across. People can tell if you genuinely want to help versus, oh, I'm helping you because I'm trying to sell you. Yeah. So they can tell. They can tell.
So if you found value, I'd love to hear. What do you guys think? How does this apply to your life? What are some aha realizations where you're going to take action right now?
Yeah.
There's someone you need to text. There's someone you need to honor. There's a referral that you can make to create value for someone else, even if there's no immediate way for you to get paid based on that. And then let us know what happens. Let us know, is this true for you? And I'm telling you, I've said this enough times to so many people, and then they come back and told me, you wouldn't believe it this. I, helped us, and then the next day, this one thing happened. It was not even connected, but it was coincidental. This one thing happened in my life. See, I told you.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And so we're here at DigiMarCon, and this video is going to live on the DigiMarCon YouTube, on the website. We purposed into different kinds of articles and social media snippets. I'm going to share it for my own personal brand. We have a team of agents that take the little stories and snippets, chopping up what Liana has said, and put it out there on her personal brand site, repurposed from her angle, repurposed from the same content can be repurposed from different angles. We're going to link it together, which drives great SEO. DigiMarCon has a domain rating 73 or something crazy like that, and it ranks on digital marketing. So if Liana wants to be known in digital marketing, and we're writing, about her on the DigiMarCon site and YouTube and all that, is that not the ultimate SEO?
Yes,
LLM AEO strategy?
It is, and it's this kind of thing you can't buy. You shouldn't be, but you literally can't. You can't buy it.
In 10 minutes, we're going to be on stage
Yep.
as the closing keynote. Can't pay for that.
No.
If you want to learn how to be a professional public speaker and why you shouldn't pay for speaking, we have a video and an article down below. We have her personal brand website, lianaling.com, down below. And I invite you to understand what's the one thing, back to the first question at the beginning, that if it's true, you've made it. And if you've made it, let us know how that's worked for you.
Yeah.
And so proud of you, Liana. You're amazing. I consider her my digital marketing
honor.
sister,
Yes.
right? Yeah.
It's family.
We'll see you guys in the next episode.